Thanks for coming to the table. We're talking about a startup company today called Spot Wine, and we have Chris Didden, we have Sam Wagner, and Will Taylor. So thanks very much for coming here.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Okay, two mechanical engineering students from UConn have figured into Chris Didden's Spot Wine.
Correct.
Right. So let's start with where the concept came from. And this is prototype number one.
Well, this is
but it started before that.
It started well before that. About 2 years ago, we were on the beach at the Cape with my wife and two kids.
Well, lucky you.
Well, it's nice to be on the Cape in the summer. And while we were out there, the kids were drinking Capri Suns. And in the cooler, we had a bottle of wine for my wife and myself and so forth. And she said, "Wow, I would love to have one of those." And I said,
sort of a sipper cup of wine.
Yeah, a single serve wine, you know, that you can just throw away when you're done and be done with it. And it packs in the cooler easy. And I said, "Okay, I'll make you one."
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, right. 2 years later, of lots and lots of money and lots of R&D and lots of problems and so forth and so on, and we finally came to market.
Have you ever been an entrepreneur or an innovator before? You said you were a lobbyist.
I was a lobbyist prior to this and government relations specialist, and then I ended up starting a wine distributorship out of East Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay, so this wasn't unknown to you. So maybe the wheels started turning that maybe I really can do this.
Well, I thought I could.
Okay.
I thought I could.
All right, so
a lot of thinking didn't quite figure into, I'm a macro guy.
Okay.
So this is a process where macro can only go so far.
All right, so this is where it started.
This is where it started. This is an original pouch that's square and ungainly and frankly ugly.
And who made this?
This was done by a shop out of New York.
Okay, all right.
So I had them make up prototypes. This is about number 33 in the prototypes.
When did we get to this prototype?
This prototype was about a year and a quarter into the process.
So we have kind of a logo now.
Now we've got the logo. We've decided on the logo, and it actually got formed by a gentleman by the name of John Lynch in our distributorship, in the wine distributorship. And we were coming up with an idea, and I said, how about spot this or spot that? And then
so you quickly checked, is there a domain available for Spot Wine?
Well, that was the first thing, obviously.
Correct. These guys are laughing because they know all about domains.
And trademarking and patents.
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Especially for a guy who doesn't understand all that stuff.
So you get there.
I get there. This is about, like I said, this is about a year and a half into the process.
You're tearing your hair out.
Tearing our hair. I hired a gentleman by the name of Paul Winter and asked him to come into the company as our CFO and my partner. And said, okay, you're a micro. You're just out of the consulting business. You're the numbers guy. You're the guy who can put all this stuff together for me. So Paul came to me and said, okay, let's do this. He had just left his company and said, okay, let's. So it was he, myself, my office manager.
All Connecticut guys.
All Connecticut guys.
When do we get to this, and when do we get to Sam and Will? When do they come into the picture?
They come into the picture about year 1 3/4.
And he was haggard by then, right? So you're mechanical engineering students at UConn, innovators, entrepreneurs, working with your hands. He finds you guys, and a third student, we should say his name.
Matt Cortez.
Okay,
yeah.
Who's not here, who's taking a final.
Yeah.
You get introduced how?
Well, my thought process is, at this point in time, we had gone to fillers, people who, because we now had the design, we had the concept. So now we said, okay, let's fill the darn thing. So we went to fillers all over the country, and nobody could fill the pouch.
In this country?
In this country. We tried maybe 130 companies that could possibly fill a pouch.
Because they're used to filling little juice boxes.
They're used to filling baby food or juice or something to that effect. But not wine, because wine is very, very dynamic in what it does when air hits it. And you ever open a bottle of wine, leave it on the counter for 3 days, it's gone.
Well, no, but if
well, you need to drink it, so you're good. You're good on that. Well, that's what's happening with these is they would double ferment or they would go bad because oxygen was allowed into them because they couldn't fill it properly.
And Sam and Will, is that how you come? Because when you came here, you showed me that this is really full. This is too full. What's going on here, Will? In this,
right here, this is secondary fermentation. When
Here comes the smart stuff. I love this.
Much better than I am.
There's a lot of free sulfur in wine, and really what happens is when oxygen's in, it reacts and takes away all the sulfur, and eventually when the levels get too low, you start to incur secondary fermentation, giving off all this gas.
So it bloats.
Yeah, essentially it is spoiling the wine. So.
That's not a good thing.
No.
So the two of you are working with him, and you say, what? We can figure out to make a machine to fill this?
I think we should need to go back just a little bit, though.
Sure.
Because I was thinking that somewhere, somehow, somebody could do this. So I contacted MIT, I contacted the University of Hartford, and I contacted the UConn and asked them if they had a program where they had their engineering students create something. You know, like when you brought your car that was in trouble to the high school auto body shop and said, you know, fix it.
It's good because you're keeping it in Connecticut. Was this part of the TIP program?
No, this is the
UConn Senior Design Program. That's the program that's called, headed by our Professor Vito Moreno.
So you went to MIT, you went to some other folks, and how did you end up at UConn?
Well, Vito Moreno, their college professor, the head of the department, called me back after I left the message and said, this is what I'm looking to do, and he said, we'd love to have you here.
Now that's the can-do spirit.
Exactly,
UConn,
which shocked me, to be honest with you, because U of H said, well, we're not sure we can do that, their engineering, and MIT said, oh, we're too busy. So,
well, good for UConn.
No, that's what I said, you know, 2 national championships and these guys now.
So, okay, so you get introduced, and you're thinking about a machine that can fill.
Well, they had to choose a program. There's 40 different projects going on now from companies, Pratt & Whitney, United Technologies, Command, all the major industries. We're probably the smallest in their period.
So you picked up this. You picked this startup. Why did you pick the wine one?
Well, okay. Aside from the obvious implications, we thought it was awesome that it's a startup company, and it was something we could really be creative with. Some of the other projects, you tend to test certain aspects, but this was something that we could really make our own and have and see what we could do. I mean, it's truly something that we developed, and that was something that was exciting.
So what are you developing? You've got a whole bunch of diagrams about a machine you're building. Tell me about this machine.
Well, the core concept is that it's an enclosed system where it's completely sealed off, and we're running nitrogen. Now, nitrogen doesn't react with wine in the same way that oxygen does to spoil it. From there, the machine it rotates around, and it has entrance and exit places for the pouches, and we believe that it can allow any sort of machinery to come in. So we're not doing the actual filling. There's plenty of machines out there that can fill it and cap it, but what we're doing is designing the system to get it in and get it out and keep all of the oxygen out.
Have you tested it?
Well, see, the thing is, we're looking to have an 18-month shelf life, and we don't even have 18 months in our senior year. So
thank heavens you don't want to do that again, right?
Well, God forbid.
Okay, so you're graduating, and so how are you going to stay connected?
So what we started with was obviously some R&D of what's already on the market.
Sure.
Like you said, there's already machines that do things like nitrogen flushes, which put some nitrogen in the pouch, help to preserve them. But we found that there is nothing as, preventative from keeping nitrogen out as we could with an enclosed system. So what we decided to do was take things that already existed, like nitrogen flushes, or say you could even put a vacuum packing machine inside if you wanted to.
Of course you can.
But if on top of that you take out all the oxygen in the atmosphere, then there's no way for it to get into the pouch during the filling and sealing process, so we'd be able to more effectively fill the pouches and extend their shelf life.
All right, so that's a machine. You've got somebody else filling the machine. What kind of wine is going in spot wine? Because somebody would say to you, oh, I don't know. What's going in that pouch? What kind of wine?
Well, actually, very good wine.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Very good wine. The one thing that I've learned is I don't want a customer coming back and having one pouch. I want them having many pouches.
And they come in a 6-pack?
They come in an 8-pack.
In an 8-pack.
So there's literally 2 bottles of wine in that 8-pack right there. So if you open it, just peel off the front top there. It just separates and opens. So
all right, so here's one that's not bloated.
Not
we should
bloated.
point out.
Well, I have a filling company in Florida doing this fill right now.
And it comes with a straw.
Comes with a patented straw.
Patented straw.
Patented straw. I went to 13 straw manufacturers before I found a straw manufacturer that actually will go in, if you point it here, it comes at a 45-degree angle here. So it's got to hit here and go all the way to the bottom without crinking, you know, and allow the wine to go up.
All these things you have to decide on.
I've never, you know, learned more about things until I started.
So what is going to be good about this, besides the fact that you've got UConn mechanical engineers and the whole senior class involved in this? What else are you going to do with this machine, and how is this going to be good for Connecticut?
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about is we're only going to fill probably out 2 million pouches a year of wine. I mean, that's
how do you know that number? You just
well, that's the number that we're seeing out there, that the projections are. So, and that's a run probably every 2 weeks. So I've got 2 weeks of downtime that I want to do something with this. So I thought about it, and I actually drove by a Connecticut-grown sign, and I said, wow, agriculture. You know, baby food, cider, hard cider, you know, preserves, the purees.
It can be all kinds of
all
things.
kind of thing, compote, you name it. And I went to a bunch of farms. I won't give out their names because they're not ready to go
but
there.
they're talking to you.
They're talking to me because they're saying that the supermarkets are saying, yes, we're going to buy Connecticut-grown products, but they only buy them for a certain period of time. And they only use it for a certain period of time. So they can sell 1,000 apples or whatever that number is, and then they're done with that, and they can say, we buy Connecticut-grown products. And my thing is, why can't keep Connecticut working, keep the seasonal employees going, and keep them going, you know, full-time or more time, and allow them to create a product that's Connecticut grown that the supermarkets will be forced to buy. And that way it keeps it in the state.
That's terrific.
And you keep people working, you get profits back into the companies, you keep the farms moving, all that versus a sign on the side of the road that says Connecticut grown.
All good stuff. What did you learn, because you're about to graduate and go out into the big bad world, what did you learn about working on this project? And I know you don't sleep much, but what did you learn from getting involved with this?
I would say that it's nothing's right the first time. We went through a lot, as you know, just as the same way he went through. You know, Chris went through a ton of ideas on how to get the pouch done and all his different prototypes. I mean, we did a lot of research and we had a bunch of different designs and ways we thought that we could accomplish this, and it really wasn't until we've fully developed a few different ones that we found one that we thought would actually work and would suit this process.
Will, what'd you learn?
Really to go off of that, I learned a lot about the design process and what it takes to really get an idea off the ground and be totally original with it. Like we were talking about earlier, I think that's kind of why I like to pick this project, because the scope was so open for us as opposed to taking a specific part and testing it and improving it in one capacity. It was just, here are these pouches of wine, let's improve them, make them adaptable to other markets, and see what we can do with it, and just do the best you can. And we've done a lot. We learned a lot.
You'll stay connected somehow, even after.
Well, absolutely. These guys have been phenomenal. I have to tell you, the three of them.
They're so smart.
Well, it's it's amazing when you can take I'm old, so but
You're
when
not
you can.
that old, Chris.
No, I'm
please.
old, but you can take a young mind and you can say, here, take a look at this. Can you create something from this? This is what I want. Can you do this? And it wasn't no. I mean, what I got from every other filling company, there was no. These guys said, yeah, let's give it a shot. And we went back and forth many, many times. We were in good contact the whole process. And they would send designs, and I'd say, nah, that's not going to quite work. We need to keep it simpler. We need to do this. We need to do that. And we need to do it cheaply. We can't do it more expensively because farms are not going to, want it, and so forth and so on. So we need to design it the right way. And these guys, it was amazing working with you because I never got
entrepreneurial mind.
Well, I never got a no, this can't work, or this, we'll find a way.
Well, congratulations in your new, job, whatever you're going to be doing after you graduate from UConn, and thanks for making this, Chris. And where can you buy these?
They come into Connecticut in 2 weeks.
Oh, there you go.
They come into Connecticut in 2 weeks.
Well, good luck to you, and good luck to you guys as you graduate from UConn. You bright young mind. You'll save the world for us.
I'm hoping, because
yes.
we're already beyond it.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.